Hello everyone and welcome back to Platform 1 with me, Jack, and Dave.
Hello.
Want here again. We'll be live for the next hour, as usual, covering some of the latest news from across the hobby with lots of great items. And as you can see, there's a lot of diverse stuff here on the table today, so I'm sure there'll be a lot for you guys to enjoy.
Fully agree. We're coming right up to Christmas now, and of course, we've got lots of great new releases in. Everyone's trying to get the best new items of 2019 out just in time for Christmas to get them right under your Christmas tree. And as you can see, really great selection to look through today with something for everybody.
There really is. We've got, as you can see, O gauge here. We've got double O. We've even got some HO here for you today. Something quite different for you to take a look at. So look forward to seeing all you guys down there in the chat. Get your questions down there. Anything we cover today, feel free to leave a question there for us and we'll try and get to it as the show goes on. But we will have about 10 minutes at the end of the show for some more quick-fire questions for Dave over here as well. So do get your questions down there and our elves will pass them through to me. So where are we starting today? There's so much good stuff.
We've got to hit the ground running today. It's going to be an action-packed show. So I think we need to start with, bring out the big guns. Let's look at Hattons Class 50.
Now these have literally just come in this week, haven't they? So we've had quite a few different variations covering the lifespan of the 50 coming in.
They've not been in our office over 24 hours actually, so we just managed to squeeze them on the stream this week as well. And these have been a couple of years in development now, but covering the whole lifespan of the Class 50, as Jack said. So starting off in the BR Blue livery there, coming right through the liveries from the 1960s straight through to the current day. And the 50 is a bit of a success story in the diesel railway history because they were built originally for express passenger traffic, went down to the southwest of England, got named after warships, which a lot of you will recognise the names of. But even then, they go through the 80s in the liveries we see here. But that wasn't the end of the story. They're actually still in service today.
Which is phenomenal, really, when you think about the age of these locomotives, that they've actually gone into preservation and then come back out again. So there's actually a variation, as you can see on the table here, in the latest GBRF livery, and now there's two locomotives painted up like that now, isn't there?
There is indeed. There's number 50049 Defiance we see here, and number 50007 Hercules as well. So to have them, the classic 1960s design in that really modern GBRF livery, it's quite a juxtaposition. But also as well, we have the two limited edition Hattons examples that you see on the screen there, which are Thunderer in the departmental blue and Valiant in the Dutch livery as well. Now, as you can see in the pictures, these two spent a lot of time paired up in the 1990s, and these are exclusive to Hattons. But coming back to that really modern GBRF livery there, if you're an O-gauge modeller, you can get a Class 50 for, well, any part of their operation in real life.
It just shows you the vast range of liveries that these have been covered in the past and how much of this the Helgen has covered in the model. But going back to those two 1990s Rail Tour ones, they were pretty much one-offs, weren't they? There's no others in those liveries, so they are a bit of a special pair, and they often did run together, didn't they? So you can have a train hauled by the two together with a rake or whatever you want on the back. So.
And Helgen's model's been in development for about 2 years, so it's great to see it here on the Platform 1 table as well. And I'm sure those of you who are familiar with Helgen's O-gauge diesel range will know exactly what we're looking at in this model. We've got the DCC ready features in it as well, so you've got the screw terminals for a wired decoder, you've got working marker lights, headlights, the high intensity light, absolutely jam-packed with detail as well. You've got the full end detailing there as well. You've got a full cab interior, two huge 5-pole motors in there, which could probably have a good go at pulling the studio down, to be quite honest.
Pull my car, let alone anything else.
Never mind an O-gauge rake of coaches. The livery application is absolutely perfect, even down to the slightly different yellows on the GB and the large logo as well. So they have really gone to town on getting these accurate.
Working roof fans on this one, isn't there as well? Yeah, so which is a really cool feature to have.
So as said, if you're a fan of Helgen's O-gauge diesels already, this is really up there at the top end of what they have produced. If you are coming into O-gauge or you're a fan of steam locomotives and not quite sure what to make of this, it really is a high quality locomotive. And of course, they're available to order right now as well.
That's it. So these are in now for £594.50 each. The exclusive models that we have are also available for $599 as well. And I don't think these are really going to be sticking around for long, really, because the 50 is something that people have been clamouring for in O-gauge for a long time. and it's been highly anticipated for a while, hasn't it?
The great opportunity with these, with there being 50 locomotives in the class, a lot of the more common liveries are provided unnumbered, so you can put your favourite identity on, and with some really powerful names on these locomotives like Warspite and Defiance and Ark Royal as well, named after Her Majesty's battleship fleet over the years, so you've got some great opportunities. And you'll see on the screen there that some more of the one-off liveries do come pre-numbered and named, such as the Great Western Green. So whether you fancy putting transfers on yourself that we do sell separately, or if you want one pre-numbered and pre-named, there's something for you in this range.
There really is a lot of options here, and again, it is just astounding the sheer variety of liveries that are on show here. You'll be able to see a few of them going through the pictures now, but obviously there's the early BR Blue liveries there. You've got your sectorization schemes with Network Southeast, and of course the one-off Civil Engineers Dutch, and then right through to the GBRF like we've got on the table. And as Dave touched on not long ago, these one-off liveries such as the GWR Green, which is pre-named for you as well as Defiance here in the Rail Freight Triple Grey. So if you don't fancy naming one up yourself, there's one there for you. If you want to take a crack at putting some transfers on, there's that option as well. So there's really is something for everyone here.
I think a great opportunity to mention this as well is, of course, with Christmas coming up, we still can get one of these to you as well. We have special delivery options coming through. So I believe that's Monday, is it? We can send special delivery?
I think so, yeah. That's the last chance you've got to get it for Christmas if you get it on the 23rd with the special delivery option, as Dave says. So do check out the website as well, because we've got full details on when our last postage dates for Christmas are. But it is getting very close to Christmas now, so you will want to get your presents in as soon as possible.
And if you're keeping it really close to the wire as well, our store is open every single day until Christmas Eve, so you can come and visit us and pick up any models we have in person too. But that's a great opportunity, even a locomotive this size. I mean, we're talking over a foot here, guys, so we can get that out in the post to you, but they really do make an impact on a no gauge layout, either on their own or as part of another fleet,
or even just part of the mantelpiece. Yes. We've got a few comments here anyway. We've got Jamie Smith asks, were they owned by the Severn Valley Railway?
Now, there's quite a few based at the Severn Valley Railway in preservation, and that's a really good point to mention, thank you very much, is that there's no less than, I think there's about 18 of these still surviving out of the 50 originally built.
Not bad.
So it's a really good ratio, and of course you can see these right across the country. There's locomotives based in the north of England, in the southeast, right down in Cornwall as well, you can see these. So in a lot of the places where they worked originally, in a huge variety of liveries. So if you are a bit of a Class 50 fan, you can pretty much head anywhere and see one. But as you mentioned, there's quite a few of them based on the Severn Valley Railway, including Defiance, which we see here as well.
I think they are quite proud of the 50s down there on the SVR, aren't they? We've got Ono Mulder says, awesome liveries. Alex Watkins says, in awe at the size of those 50s.
Really are big.
You can't really get it across on the camera really, but they are. You can see in comparison to the 00 models here just how big they are. We've got Flying Scott says, always find it odd how the 50s were named after warships, but the actual warship class is entirely different loco. Yeah, that's an interesting point there.
There's quite a lot of locomotives in railway history that are named after warships as well. Even coming up to the common Class 68s now have almost taken the names from the likes of the Class 50s and the Class 42s, as you mentioned before them, keeping that history alive, which is it's a nice little link there. Yeah,
you see a lot of that with different logos, don't you, harking back to the other classes of the past. We've got Ian B says, love the Class 50s, just the right class to have those great battleship names on it.
Yes.
Navs Media Production says, has the GWR Green 50 been on a sleeper workings?
Oh, now, they did operate sleeper workings down to Penzance from London Paddington, and that really was a staple of Class 50 operation in the 1980s. So there's a really good chance that that particular loco did, but certainly other members of the class did haul that journey as well.
And if you just fancy doing it on your layout, there's nothing to stop you doing it anyway. And then we've got Gareth Waite here, says the Network Southeast livery looks amazing, and he says Merry Christmas to us both from himself and Oliver.
Now, I'd like to know which Network Southeast livery he prefers, because there's two. You've got the original Network Southeast and a revised darker Network Southeast as well. So, little question for you that time, actually. I'll send one back rather than have them all come in, you know.
Everyone's got a favourite between those two as well, having the original or revised. I'm an original guy, but...
It's called Toothpaste, actually, so in railway circles, so quite an interesting little...
Colgate livery, I believe some people have called it, haven't they? While we're just in the comments, I'll just say hello to some of our regulars and all you new guys who are here as well. We've got Jamie Smith says, very good day, hello. SLD51 says hello. We've got Bluegrass Rail Fan says morning. Managed to wake up in time today. Spent yesterday rail fanning watching CSX. over in the States.
Okay.
We've got Charles Curtis says hello everyone. John Lawless says hi gents, and we've got Clive Gabold as well says here we go again. And he's ordered one of our 66s in blue, grey and yellow and black as well.
Brilliant. And we are starting to dispatch the 66s today for people who have pre-ordered them before the cut-off date as well. So quite a few of you, I imagine, will have them under the Christmas tree, and let us know what you think.
That's it. Right, so moving on now, we've had a few new releases from Hornby recently, haven't we?
We have indeed. It's been a really busy week for Hornby releases. So many new items coming through, and the most popular of those has got to be the new liveries on the Ruston.
It has to be. Now, these two are being long awaited. We had a lot of questions on Platform 1 and on social media about the Queen Anne Longmorn Distillery liveried version, and of course the War Department one, which we see on the screen right now. And this completes the first batch of the Ruston 48DS, doesn't it?
It does indeed. There's 4 releases that have come out, with the first unfortunately now sold through in the original Ruston and Hornsby Green, but 3 distinct colour schemes are available to order right now for £72. We've got the 2 that we've seen on the screen here, as well as the version that we've had on the show before, which is the John Dewere's red with chevrons on as well. So some really distinct colour schemes, but also distinct body variations as well of the 2 different types of cab. We see the earlier style here, but the actual fully enclosed cab is available to order as well.
Yeah, I believe that John Dewere's livery has the more enclosed cab on it, doesn't it? But what I love about these locos, and it's something I think I've mentioned before, is just that every single one of them has a little story to tell.
Yes.
So, of course, the War Department livery one, that's quite obvious where that would have served. But then you've got the Longmore Distillery one, which I believe is still preserved somewhere. And you've got the John Dewere's one, which, of course, worked on a whiskey distillery. But he did get around these things, and he worked at a lot of unusual industrial sites that you wouldn't expect to see railways, really. So there's a bit of alternative operational opportunities for modelers as well.
It really is some exciting new opportunities to build a layout or a small diorama, possibly, with the size of these locomotives coming in at just under 2 inches long in 00 gauge. As you can see on the screen there, the small locomotives in real life, but they are absolutely tiny in 00 gauge. But that doesn't detract from the detailing in any way. They've got a really powerful motor there, pickups on all 4 wheels, and the wagon that is attached, but you can attach that if you don't want to use it. Even with or without the wagon, it does run brilliantly through point work and various basically track issues, really. So really smooth runners, DCC capability in there as well. They really do pack a lot of punch for the size.
It's astounding what they've managed to pull off with it being so tiny. Like you say, digital capability alone in something that small is an impressive feat. But to have it perform the way it does as well, without the match wagon, is a sight to behold, really. So it's a wonderful little performer, that one. But yeah, those 2 new liveries that we've just shown on the screen there, they're available right now to order, so you can get those in the link in the description. And of course, they join the range with the John Dewere's and Sons livery for £72. But you want to get your skates on if you want to get one of these, because as Dave said, the first livery's sold out now, and I don't think it'll be long for these other 3 as well.
I think these are the perfect size to be a great stocking filler as well, either before
really
or just after Christmas as a little bit of a post-Christmas treat. So they are absolutely flying off the shelves at the moment, and they aren't going to be around for long. So that's it. If you'd like one, take a look at that link in the description. But Hornby have supplied us with huge amounts of new releases this week. We've had the Coca-Cola wagons as well. We've had various Mark III coaches in LNER livery. But another locomotive we've had making a really welcome return to the range is the Black 5 here. This one's actually, again, got a little bit of a different story to tell, with it being preserved as part of the 1-to-1 collection.
Yeah, so you can actually see this one right now at Margate in the 1-to-1 collection, which is next to Hornby's main site there. And this is like bang up to date, isn't it? So this is exactly how it looks in real life. But of course, even so, it is the Black 5. It's probably one of the favourite steam locomotives, I want to say. It really does have a cult following, the Black 5, doesn't it?
This is one of the most familiar locomotives in the British Isles. There was actually over 800 of these built for the LMS railway. It really was the standard mixed traffic locomotive. And as you can see here on the screen, in preservation, these have spread the wings even further than they got in the BR and LMS days, with the locomotive seen here and modelled by Hornby seen a lot of use on the Mid-Hants Railway in the south of England. So really deep in that Southern Railway territory. It's one of the most iconic LMS designs.
It's a bit of an unusual location for it to end up, really, isn't it? But yeah, as ever, it's what we expect from Hornby with one of these models. The Black 5 is a really lovely model that they produced, and it has a lot of features too. It's got full die-cast chassis there. You've got things like a moving roof vent on the cab there, which you probably won't be able to see, but it's just a nice little feature. Of course, you've got your sprung buffers on the front, digital capability, got a coal load in there, interior detail. It's everything you'd expect from a Hornby Loco, really.
It is, and it's been in the catalogue for a couple of years now, but Hornby are great at keeping reintroducing this in new liveries and new numbers each year, so there's always a different Black 5 available, and currently we do have two. We have the LMS livery Black 5, which is available to order, and the BR model right here as well. So both of those can be ordered right now if you click that link in the description.
And these things had a really lengthy lifespan, didn't they? Because they, of course, started off with the LMS, and they continue right through into BR use right to the end of Steam, didn't they? And of course, there's a few left in preservation now, such as the one we've got on the desk here. So a lot of opportunities there for different layouts.
And when you say the end of Steam, these were the end of Steam. They hold the last service on British Rail to be hauled by a steam locomotive in 1968. So it does not go later for British Railways standard gauge steam than these as well. That's
probably a reason why it holds a place in so many people's hearts as well, because it's pulled such a prestigious and important service as well.
And in real life as well, throughout the roles for BR, LMS and in preservation, they're known as a really reliable workhorse, rugged design, capable of pretty much any job you'd be able to throw at it. And Hornby's model's exactly the same. It's got weight in all the right places to give it a great tractive effort. It'll run through anything right down to second radius curves and set track points as well. You've got the digital capacity in there with space for a huge speaker in the tender should you want one. So that rugged reliability matches life imitates art there, really, where you've got the Locomotive and the Hornby model being just as dependable a locomotive.
That's it. And as you touched on, you can get this right now if you like. This is £157.50 on our website right now. Check that link in the description. And of course, that LMS one is also available to order too, so there's a couple of choices there for you. And I'd expect this one to be, I think we'll see more from the Black 5 again in the future, maybe in the 2020 range as well.
With over 800 locos to go at, we'll certainly see some more identities. And one important thing to mention is this is a limited edition of 1,000, which you do get a certificate of, and a fully detailed box as well, which has all the history, which you can just about see on the side there. So that's got not only a special cover, but also the full history on the back and a certificate as well. So you don't only get the model, you do get a collector's piece as well.
Yeah, it's a nice piece for any collector, that one. And of course, with the certificates as well, you know you're getting one of the premium models that not everyone gets a chance to have on their layout. So it's really one that you want to strike to get quickly. Right, we've got a couple of comments here. We've got King Ori says, saw Black 5 in running condition at the Mid-Hants Railway.
It probably will have been that one
in that case.
Yeah, that one ran there for quite a few years, about 5 or 6 years ago now, but it was there, so I think maybe this one you've seen? I
think one of the pictures we showed there was on the Mid-Hants actually, so it could have been that one. We've got 700 Shunter as well, says the Black 5 looks nice, and they've got the LMS one, so I'm sure they've been enjoying that. Just on the Ruston as well, we've got a few comments here. We've got Flying Scott says, ordered the Queen Anne variant actually, and it should be arriving next week, so hope you enjoy that for Christmas.
Certainly, let us know what you think.
Yeah, definitely. We've got 700 Shunter, very tempted to purchase the Ruston. Navs Media Productions, remember seeing Hornsby at the Lancashire Mining Museum taking a scan of the Ruston to have at the mine.
Definitely some real opportunities there, as you touched on before. Just so many different industries using these locomotives, with them being such a small and standardised design. We've seen pictures of them working at dairy plants, army bases, distilleries,
biscuit factories,
nuclear power stations as well. You can really get one for pretty much any case. And as said, with them being only 2 inches long, well, even less than that to be quite honest, you can just squeeze one onto any corner of any layout and have even a little diorama or a couple of sidings to shunt, or a whole new project over the winter months if you fancied it.
That's it. We've got Gareth Waite says, got Queen Anne the other day. It blew him away how great the livery and the lettering is. And it worked in Ireland too, as he found out on Chris Tarrant's show the other day. I actually watched that a couple of nights ago, and it was quite fascinating, talking about the peat railways over there, and there was a few Rustons that work there too. So interesting link there for you Irish modelers too.
That's it. There's some great opportunities to have these, not only on a UK layout, but also some international layouts as well. But let's stick with the international theme.
Let's do it.
I think some people have spotted this one already, haven't they?
I've already seen a couple of comments on
this. A few people
this.
say,
Yeah.
what is that? And, well, I know you've been excited about this one, so over to you, Jack.
I have been excited about this one, and some of you can probably guess. It's a bullet train. This is the Shinkansen Zero series, and the model we have here in front of us is the Zuke Mora HO gauge model, and this is really quite a stunner. I believe this is the first ever model we've stocked from Zuke Mora,
It is indeed, and it's a bit of a coup for us, to be quite honest, that we've been able to get this. We have got limited supplies of this model, and we've found that a lot of people are asking for the Shinkansen, maybe familiar with it either through its own distinct history or from seeing the power car that's in the National Railway Museum in York in the UK as well. But either way, we have managed to get these into our range and available to order right now.
It's an interesting point about it being in the NRM, because there is that British link with the bullet train almost, because we do have one in the national collection. But the model here is just, it's something to behold, really. It's available as a 4-car set, as we have here, but you can also buy extra coach packs, which come in a variety of different forms. I believe there's a 4-car pack, a 2-car pack, and a single pack, so you can really get a full realistic rake of these going. And there's a lot of features here. You've got full directional lighting on the front. It's fully digital capable with a 21-pin socket. It's got really close couplings as well, so it comes with special connectors that you can plug in, and you get this nice close fit between the coaches as you'd expect in real life. And it's got full interior lighting too, because those connections are electrical too, so it passes right the way through the train.
And with it being HO gauge, it is a slightly smaller scale than the 00 trains that you may be more familiar with, as we see on the front row here, but it will still run on a 00 layout as well. And even when two trains are next to each other, it doesn't look that far apart really, because of the size and the sleekness and the shape of it. But this has got to be, again, we've been talking about iconic trains a lot on this episode already, but this really has to be up there with the greatest.
Oh, absolutely. We've got some real life pictures here as well, of course, and it's a sight to behold, the bullet train, isn't it? It really is. It's up there with the Mallard, Flying Scotsman, the Black 5 even as well, as just one of the ultimate recognisable trains for people. Of course, the TGV and the Eurostar as well, as just one of these trains that everyone knows. There's the iconic shot, of course, passing Mount Fuji, and it just shows you the beautiful locations that this train runs through. And this was absolutely revolutionary. These launched in the late 1960s into the early 1970s, and this was at a time of great change for Japan's railways, as they really heavily invested into their high-speed networks, and this was built literally to serve these new high-speed lines. And it was like nothing else in the world when it came out, for the amount of speed that it could achieve and the luxury inside the cabin whilst doing so.
In the late 1960s, the 140 miles an hour that these trains could regularly achieve was completely unheard of in countries such as the UK, the US, and various places around the world as well. So this really was the first high-speed train, so to speak, joining with many trains joining it, such as the HST from the UK. We've got various other vehicles from across the US, China now have got a lot of high-speed railways. But this is where the story began. This is where you're looking at things like the advanced passenger train as well coming through. So any high-speed train you've seen, whether it's the Class 43s that are out there a lot at the moment, Pendolinos, you name it, this is where the story began. And it's great to be able to have that in model form as well, because it is important enough to commemorate not only across Japan, where several of these units are preserved, but also in the UK National Railway Museum, and I believe there's a couple dotted across the world as well.
That's it. I think this is just, if you're a rail enthusiast, this has a place in your collection, because it's such an important piece of rolling stock from the history of the railways in general, that you kind of just have to have one if you're interested in this sort of thing. And as you touched on, this is genesis of the high-speed train. And in Japan, if you wanted to model a Japanese layout, these operated for an amazing amount of time, right into the 2000s as well. I believe it was only really, in the grand scheme of things, a few years ago that they stopped running entirely. And as Dave said, there's a lot preserved out there all over the world.
And we've found as well that certainly earlier in the year, a lot of our eagle-eyed viewers will remember we had the River Rossi Big Boy in HO gauge as well, which looked absolutely fantastic alongside a lot of British locomotives that it may never meet in real life, but just having an international addition to your collection can really add some great modelling opportunities and some vibrancy in what you have. So for steam modellers, we had the Big Boy, which could pose next to the Flying Scotsman, Duchess, the Mallard, etc. But if you're a modern image modeller and you just want that comparison with what the rest of the world was doing at that time, this would look fantastic next to a high-speed train, a Pendolino, and just a little bit of a battle of the high speed there, I think.
Absolutely. I think we might have to do something like that on our YouTube channel as well in future. But, you know, it's always quite easy to justify something like this on a layout because, of course, we recently took a look at the Flying Scotsman making its US trip in the past and to Australia too. And other locomotives have made quite long journeys across the world for different reasons. So there's always a way you could maybe say on your layout, a bullet train was flown over to showcase that to the UK, maybe to British Rail to maybe try and sell them one. So there's always an opportunity to make something up for your layout with one of these.
Some great opportunities to get one of these on your layout. And of course, we do have them available to order right now as well. We have the 4-car sets, we have the expansion packs with the coaches there too. The only thing to bear in mind is these are in extremely limited numbers. So if you do want one, make sure you head to that link in the description right now and order yours.
That's it. This is a really prestigious set as well. It's got a really nice feel to it. Nice packaging as well for this. It's quite a robust box and a really nice quality feel, as you'd expect from Japanese products, really, as we see from the likes of Kato and Tomix. The items just really are high caliber, and the model itself, as you will be able to see from here, and me taking a good look at it as well, it is a beautiful piece of art, really, this. So it's got a fine place in any rail enthusiast collection. Right, the comments are going absolutely crazy here for this one, which, as I expected, because it's totally unlike anything we've had on stream before, really.
I don't think many people are expecting us to have a Shinkansen set on Platform 1 today, but we like to keep you on your toes.
Yeah, we thought we'd surprise you just before Christmas anyway. So we've got Navs Media Production says, is that a HO scale Shinkansen I see? It certainly was. Matt Slade says, I need that Shinkansen. Well, if you want one, that link's there in the description and you can get one right now. We've got Jamie Smith says he's got a Lima bullet train. Nice to see a different model. We've got 700 Shunter says bullet train looks really nice. We've got Navs Media Productions asks, don't they run in 13-car sets? So obviously, they do. So you can buy this 4-car set, and then we do have the coach packs as well. So if you wanted to run a full 13-car one, you can certainly do that.
But as we find with a lot of these multiple units that do run in large numbers, such as the high-speed train and the Pendolino, you can get a great representation of that on your layout with lesser units, should you not have quite a larger layout or a little bit less space. So this as a full 4-car set, which you just can't quite see, but the rest of it is hidden away back here as well. Does look really good as a 4-car set, but of course if you really want to bring that right through to the authentic 13-car set, we do sell the additional coach packs as well.
It still has that impact though, doesn't it? It's like we touched on with the Eurostar train set the Hornby brought through.
Yes.
Even in a smaller configuration, it still looks impressive. We've got Lakota Throughout says, guys, I can't buy everything, but I really want that bullet train. Me too. We've got AMK 1000 says there's no 0 series running anymore, sadly. No, been a few years now since one last ran, but as I say, they did have a tremendous
They did indeed. They ran right to the late 2000s, and they did keep a set going for heritage reasons for a couple of years, but there's a lot of them preserved over Japan, and as we touched on before, there is one you can see in the United Kingdom at the National Railway Museum in York, and there's a few more dotted across the world as well.
Believe me, I've had a good look at the one in the NRM quite a few times. Taze says they've been on a bullet train to Osaka. That's amazing. I'm very jealous if you get to do that. SLD51 says, so impressed with the Suzuki Mura train. Jamie Smith says the one in the NRM is about 5 or 6 chairs wide. It seems huge when you sit in it. That's one thing that really struck me with this. It is huge inside. It's I don't know if it would really fit in the loading gauge here, because it is a very wide set.
I think they would be a little bit too large to run on the UK tracks, but as you said before, never mind real life, you can run one on a UK layout with this model as well. So
make your dreams come true.
That's it.
We've got SLD51 says, potentially some problems running on some UK railways. And then SLD51 again says, Could we take a look at the DD54 and EF13 locomotives from Tsukimura at some point as well?
It's certainly something we could review in the future. Although we are predominantly bringing through UK-based model railways, we really like to showcase some of the highlights of what models are available from around the world as well. So any suggestions you do have for ranges for us to look at or models to review, do send them through to ideas@hattons.co.uk. And as said, we really will take a look at some international celebrities as well.
That's it, just like this, and of course the big boy that we had earlier this year. There's some items which are just perfect for anyone really, even if they're not quite part of the UK scene. Right, where are we going to go next?
Oh, I think we've got to get a bit of a Christmas bargain for people now. And of course, everyone loves a bargain. Never mind Christmas, actually. Everyone loves a bargain. So we have a bargain right here in front of us. We've been able to reduce another Janus locomotive with its wagons as well to an absolutely incredible bargain price. The locomotive's available for $49.50, and with the wagons, it's available for an incredible $69.50, which is almost half price.
It's an unbelievable price, really. To get an entire train onto your layout for under £70 is unheard of, really, in a lot of cases, and for the amount of quality you're getting here too. As you can see, this is the Yorkshire Engine Company Janus 060, and it is a lovely locomotive. This, you've got a lot of detail on there, a lot of separately fitted handrails, which is quite a defining feature of this loco. They've got very big handrails, which are very obvious to see. Lot of other separately fitted parts, such as the exhaust ports, and you've got some vents on the top there as well. And a lot of detailing on the fan grill, on the radiator grills and stuff like that. And it's a lovely livery application on this one too, in this very striking ICI maroon colour scheme. And of course, you've got those accompanying wagons in the Salt Division blue livery. So it really does stand out, this one, very colourful.
And this is a really important part of the UK's freight traffic that often gets overlooked, is the transportation of salt, especially around Staffordshire and Cheshire. In fact, this particular locomotive did run only a couple of miles from where we are sat right now in Runcorn, and ran right up until the 1980s. But there's a lot of plants across the country that did generate the salt traffic there as well. And eagle-eyed viewers will probably know that we have offered a Janus at a bundle price before, whereas that was a steel livery. This is a great opportunity to get a different, more distinct livery on the layout there as well, with a bright red shunting locomotive, and the specs in there as well. You've got full digital capability, fully detailed cab, as you touched on before, a lot of the details including the handrails. They're quite a different design than more of the British rail shunter, with a lot more features and different areas as well.
Absolutely.
So they are quite distinct compared to the likes of your Class 08 shunter, or something small like a Class 14 as well. But they really do have that characterful design, and a lot of use on pretty much any layout from the 1950s onwards.
Oh yeah. Janus literally means, I think, two-faced god, doesn't it?
Yes.
And it's perfect for it because it is pretty much symmetrical, isn't it? It's exactly the same at either end, which makes it perfect as a yard shunter or for industrial sites as well.
Yes.
And the beauty of a set like this is it is in that salt livery with the ICI colour scheme here, but it could represent an industrial train from a huge range of industrial sites, really, isn't it? Because, you know, they did tend to move locos around as needs be. Sometimes they'd use them in different liveries on different sites and things like that. So you could create your own salt facility railway, or it could represent any number of industrial sites. And as with the other locos we've shown in the past, that could be anywhere, like steelworks, other yards, mines, collieries, whatever you want, really. So, and as you touched on, it's just it's something a bit different, isn't it, compared to the standard shunters of the day.
As we touched on with the Rustons before, this is a really great opportunity not only to pick up a bargain locomotive and wagons for a great price, but also maybe to kickstart a little bit of a winter project, maybe a small diorama or industrial layout, where you can pick up the loco and coaches, bit of track and some detailing bits for not quite much money, really.
Yeah.
To have some great opportunities to make a little industrial scene there. And they're absolutely fantastic runners as well, these locomotives. Really weighty in the chassis there as well. Full NEM couplings, as we can see at the bottom there as well. So some really good opportunities. Now, this bargain we launched only a couple of days ago, and already these are absolutely flying off the shelves. As with anything we put on a bargain price, really. So again, we can get these out to you before Christmas. We are still doing special delivery until the 23rd. So do take a look if one of them has a little bit of a place under your Christmas tree as a last minute bargain or stocking filler. But of course, we can get them to you just after Christmas as well if you want to treat yourself after Christmas.
That's it. But that previous bundle we had, that absolutely flew off the shelves, and these are strictly limited while stocks last. So if you do want to get one, I would really recommend you ordering one right now. But if you do want the Loco as well, just on its own, that is also available at a bargain price, so you can pick that up for just £49.50. But at £69.50, you almost might as well just get the bundle with the wagons too, because it's such a great saving. You could use those wagons for anything you like. It's
almost a bit of an insult not to talk about the wagons, really,
because they're lovely.
You do have full metal wheels, fully detailed chassis, NEM couplings, detail inside and out of the planking as well, full printing for the ICI Salt Division branding on there as well. And as part of the bundle, they're coming in at less than £7 each.
It's incredible, really.
For a fully detailed plank wagon like that, especially in a livery that complements the Loco it's going with.
And with nice short NEM couplings on there as well. It's got a proper centering mechanism on there as well. So these will perform very well. And one thing you don't always see on a plank wagon is there are quite a few separately fitted details here as well. You've got these bolsters on the ends, which are separately fitted, and you've got the dummy couplings there, and of course on the underframe too. So they really are quite lovely for the price.
It really is a great pack of, well, pretty much everything you want in a diesel shunter, and something to shunt it with for the price.
That's it. I'm going to have to talk about some of these comments here. We've got lots coming through.
Wow, okay.
You guys are chatting a lot today. I'm loving it. We've got Navs Media Production says, did the Janus ever wear a WD livery?
Oh, now that's a bit of a question. I'm not 100% certain if they carried a WD livery, but certainly British Army did use them, as well as a couple of locomotives are tried on the Longmoor Military Railway as well. So there's some great opportunities to get them on army-based layouts. But as we mentioned previously, and as you covered as well, the sheer amount of industrial sites that these worked on, pretty similar to the Ruston in how far they got, working at power stations and different facilities as well. So some real opportunities to get them at different places.
That's it. We've got AMK 1000 says a much better industrial loco than the Ruston, in his opinion. Doesn't look like it'd be derailed by a light breeze. They are very chunky, sort of purposeful locos. These you do look a bit more heavy duty. But the Ruston still has its place. It
does indeed.
And it obviously, like we said, it was used all over the place at a lot of unusual industrial sites.
But great locos for either task there, I think.
That's it, and it just shows you the choice there is in industrial modelling at the moment as well.
Yes.
We've got 700 Shunter says the Janus would go really well with the Peckett B2 he's getting for Christmas.
That really is a good combination, and again, another area that you can really enjoy industrial modelling is the pairing of steam locomotives. Some really classic Edwardian industrial designs like the Peckett B2s and the W4s as well, coming right through to work with the Januses and more modern diesel locomotives into the 1970s and 1980s, whereas BR steam ended in 1968, it carried on for about another 10 to 12 years in the industrial realm with really old-fashioned looking locomotives, including our Andrew Barclay as well there. So if you wanted a real clash on your 00 layout of antique locomotives with bang up to date modern diesel shunters, industrial modelling is the way to go.
Oh, absolutely. It's such a great way to have that mixture in there, and if you're looking for a bit of variety, it is perfect, especially because look at the colour schemes you can have here. A bright maroon red loco with blue wagons. Where would you see that?
That's it.
So it's great for a bit of variety. James Akers says, love the Janus shunter set, very tempted to get it for this price especially. Are there any other Janus shunters that are in classic liveries, such as BR black or blue?
Now, they never really did carry the BR liveries. BR did trial a couple of these locomotives, but they were as built when they were trialled. And unfortunately, BR didn't take any on at the time. So you're not going to get one of these in a BR livery, unfortunately. But do take a look at our listings because we do have other liveries available there as well. Not quite at the same bargain price, but other identifiable liveries such as British Steel in there as well. So do take a look at the listings as there's other ones available, but this is the set at the real bargain price.
There are a lot of vibrant liveries on this one, aren't there, though? Because there's the ICI Maroon, there's that bright blue, there's Aqua BP livery, there's a yellow one as well, isn't there? So there's really a colour for everyone there. We've got Ben Tullett says, wish Oxford Diecast would produce some BP tank wagons for the BP liveried one. Maybe that's something we'll see in the new announcements
They
this year.
are bringing some tankers through, some of the 12-ton tankers and the A and B tankers, which we will see more on in 2020. But I believe there are some petrol liveries being offered there as well. So take a look at our listings on those, and there's bound to be something in there for you.
Yeah, you never know. We've got Bluegrass Railfan says, so tempting to pick up some HO scale Unitrack and try out some of these great 00 items. Lots of interesting stuff. Tristan Clack says, waiting for the London Docks Peckett to go with the London Dock Janus. Maybe that could be a bundle in the future.
Again, really great opportunity to pair antique locomotives with modern diesel shunters there, with the Port of London Authority Janus available at the moment. And the Peckett you touched on there, we've been told, is due in March.
We've got Navs Media Productions again, says it's small and industrial. No matter what you model, you can always find a place for an industrial loco. Definitely agree on that one.
Fully agree.
And then we've got Tristan Clack again, says, are there any more paint schemes for the Janus due in the future?
There's no plans at the moment from what we've heard, but that's not to say they're not coming in the future. There's a lot of more to cover with the Janus, with various different liveries. I mean, we mentioned some before, the Longmore Military Railway in there. There's green liveries, various other different private operators as well. There's a lot of the Janus story still to be told, so who knows what we'll see in the future.
Brilliant. Right, I think, should we switch from small industrial shunters up to big diesels?
I'm
maybe?
liking the sound of that, but maybe not too big diesels.
Not too
Let's
big.
stick with 00, but again, this is one of the hot new releases that has come through, and this landed on our doorstep pretty much last night.
This is really hot off the press, isn't it?
This is really hot off the press. In fact, it's burning me slightly to touch, actually. But this is Dapol's baby warship, Class 21.
And there's 3 different colour schemes come through here, isn't it? And they're all in the BR green with a few different variations, as you can see. You've got the half yellow ends version there and a few with just green ends. But there is a 4th one coming through as well, which I think has got the full yellow ends there as well, hasn't it?
That's spot on. And of course, these will be complemented early in 2020 by the rebuilt Class 29s as well. And this is where the story gets quite interesting, because they are what they call one of the pilot scheme locomotives, built in the late 1950s by the North British Company for use in the south of England. Didn't work too well down there, unfortunately, though, so transferred to Scotland. Didn't work too well there either, unfortunately. So they were fully rebuilt with a Paxman power unit into the Class 29s for the 3rd time. Didn't work too well there either, I'm afraid. So were withdrawn in the 1970s, but that's what gives them the cult following.
That's it. It kind of gives them a bit of charm, really, doesn't it? Because they didn't quite work out, but they still had their place, and even though they weren't 100% perfect, they did still work. They were still out there. They still did see use on a lot of different services. So I think it's great to see that we finally got a high detail model of this interesting class, shall we say, in 00 gauge. And Dapol's model, it's what we've started to come to expect from Dapol, and especially in diesel locomotives. Nice amount of weight here, really great detail body shell, a lot of separately fitted parts, such as some nice handrails here. You've got your sprung buffers, of course. Excellent livery application on these as well. Of course, these only really wore the BR green colour schemes, but there were some variations in there. Of course, you've got your green ends on this one and your yellow ends on that one. So there's a few different variations for different time periods. But the underframe as well is just incredible on this. The bogey detail especially is something to behold with this one. And you've got your full cab interior there too. So it is a lovely model. And
it doesn't end there. You get a fully comprehensive detailing pack, including head code discs as well, digital capacity with a 21-pin socket, space for a huge sound speaker to replicate that North British power unit sound as well, which is really iconic to these locomotives. The closest you actually get to seeing that in real life now and hearing that sound is in Germany as well.
Yeah.
So a really distinct noise for you DCC sound fans if you really fancy one of these on your layout. But as you mentioned, it's nice to see one of the more unusual models being covered now, with a lot of more familiar locomotives on the market. These are quite a distinctive shape, quite a distinctive sound, quite a distinctive history as well, and they were one of the last main diesel locomotives to get a super detailed model. There really isn't much left out there now. So to see the picture coming to completion, really, of you're able to order a high detail model of pretty much every UK diesel, the Class 21 really sort of puts that at the end, and it's definitely saving one of the best till last.
That's it. I mean, it's like we say, I think it's about time it had a model of this calibre come through. And this is available to order right now. As Dave said, this is literally hot off the press. It came in just last night, and you can get one of these for £129.15 right now. That is digital ready. There will be digital fitted from the factory and sound fitted ones in the future as well, so keep an eye out if you want to get one of those.
The real opportunity for me here is diesels in Scotland. Certainly is with a Class 21, similar locomotives such as Hattons Class 26 as well. If you want to model a diesel layout but you haven't quite got the space, this is a great opportunity to make some amazing Highland scenery, some Scottish lowland scenery as well. But with only a couple of coaches on the back, these diesels worked with maybe 2 or 3 coaches on some of the more obscure branch lines in Scotland as well. So if you really are fancying modelling that pioneering diesel era where so many different types of locomotive are in use, some successful, some not, but at the same time, having a small rake there as well, you're able to get a really great slice of history in a small space.
That's a really nice point, that, actually, because it's not often that you can run a diesel of that size in a short space. So I think this is the perfect opportunity for something like that, and it just shows you what options are out there for modelers at the moment.
And of course as well, the complete contrast then of working in the beautiful Scottish Highlands, but starting their history right in the gritty London suburbs of the 1950s and 1960s too. So whether you've got an urban layout or whether you've got a beautiful rural scene, there's a place for a 21 on yours.
And it just shows you, even though it didn't quite live up to the expectations of the builders and the owners of the class, it's still got a lot of use, and it got a scene in quite a few different locations too.
And that's the only thing I think the Dapol model will be different on, in that this is going to live up to expectations and be a really successful model of an unfortunately not so successful locomotive.
That's it. But that's the railways, isn't it? There's always going to be the oddballs out there, and they need to be modelled too. It's not all about the super successful, super famous locos. So it's lovely to see this come through. We've got Northwest Train Spotting here, says how much are the baby Deltics. These are £129.15 for the digital ready versions, which are in now.
Yes.
We've got Medway Peninsula Model Railway, says likes the look of the baby warships. 700 Shunter says looks nice. Would look good with some XGWR or XSR locomotives.
Some good opportunities there. These were more working with the Eastern locomotives and then the Scottish region locomotives too, but the very similar looking Class 22 was the locomotive that worked all over the Western region at the same time, and we do have those available to order. So if you're a Western region modeller, we can sort you out with a baby warship as well.
Brilliant. Last comment here is from SLD51, and he says Dapol diesels are great models, which they really are. There's been some fantastic ones through from Dapol, and that's not all. For the last model of the show that we want to take a look at today, which is the Engage Class 67.
And this is it. It's another one of Dapol's great diesel models, as we mentioned, but this time in Engage, bringing through some really contemporary liveries here, all 4 seen for the first time. You've got the DB Silver there, which works with the management train on various duties, as well as passenger workings as well. This Colas Rail model that's really been sought after, with 2 locomotives working for them on Network Rail test trains and other duties as well, but that's not all.
Yeah, as you can see on the left of the screen there, we've also got the Royal Claret liveried one, which of course pulls the rail train now, I should say. And there is also, unfortunately not pictured in these images, the Bellman British Pullman Brown livery, which of course hauls some of their luxury rail tours. So quite a diverse range of liveries here, and a diverse range of operations. You've got some freight here, and you've got luxury rail tours as well. And of course, the train that literally hauls the royal family. So there's quite a few different options for you guys there.
This shows just how diverse the Class 67's operation has become since they were first introduced in 1999. They were built for postal traffic at the time, but unfortunately that didn't last too long. So they were without a home for a couple of years, really. They had to find a way a little bit, but certainly now that is the case. And after just over 20 years of operation, coming right up into the 2020s now as well, these locomotives have found various different homes on various different duties. And that just shows in the variety of colour schemes available. We do have other models available too, including the Caledonian Sleeper livery, which was seen for a few years, the other Royal Train locomotives available too, right down to the original EWS livery as well. So some great opportunities to get some distinct modern colour schemes on these pretty iconic locomotives.
That's it. It's great to see more of these items coming through. As Dave said, there's already a few of these in stock, but it's nice to have even more coming into the range with some of these bang-up-to-date colour schemes coming through as well, especially the Colas Rail livery, which is quite an interesting one to see. Those Colas ones get used on practically anything as well, don't they? Yes. We've seen them on RHTTs of all things as well, which just goes to show you that, you know, practically anything can run with an RHTT as well. But these come in at just £108.76, which for a fully detailed, really high-end N-gauge model is a great price as well. So a lot of features here. You've got working lighting on these. You've got a nice heavy chassis, a lot of detailing. Just like the 66s as well, actually, as you'll be able to see from the photos here, there's a little bit of a ribbed edge to the side of these, aren't there? So it's quite a difficult one to actually model quite well and also to apply those liveries to. But I think you can see that Dapol's knocked it out of the park with these ones, really.
And of course, a lot of the family history there of the 66 as well, with a very similar power unit installed and a lot of similar fittings, such as the Y-pack headlights there as well. These were designed as the passenger version of the Class 66 diesel that you may be very familiar with. So they could go at maximum speed of 125 miles an hour, which a lot of them still do as well. Yeah. Certainly the Network Rail test models there. But we've had the analog versions now, the digital ready versions are available to order, but we are receiving digital fitted versions in the new year as well.
Brilliant. Got a few comments here as well. Got Blue Rush Rail fan says, yay, N-gauge, and more decisions for him to make there. 700 Shunter says the black and red DB67 looks really nice. Will be interesting to see one paired with some industrial steam locos. Really going for that industrial steam vibe today.
That's it, yeah, getting a feel for that one. But again, some great opportunities. These visit preserved railways on rail tours, and they have been known to make appearances at special events at the National Railway Museum. So having that modern image loco can pair up with pretty much anything on your layout. And as we've said several times on Platform 1, at the end of the day, it's your railway, so you can pair however you wish.
That's it. And then we got Jamie Smith here as well, says there's some great Class 67 liveries available, which there are. And it's nice to see quite a bit of diversity coming through there in the range and a few different options for modern image layouts.
It is indeed, and the 67s available at the moment cover the entirety of their lifespan and operations. So whichever part of their history you're a fan of the most, you can cover it now with one of Dapol's N-gauge models.
That's it. Right, we're coming up to about 9 minutes left in the stream. As ever, we've flown through quite a lot here. So we'll come to your questions in just a minute. I can see there's some great questions down here for us to take a look at. But just to let you know quickly, we did hint in the last few episodes that we will be having some special festive episodes over the Christmas period, and those will be happening. So if you tune in to us on Christmas Day next week, you'll be able to watch our Christmas special of Platform 1, which will be taking a look back at the best models of 2019 and just having a quick look back at what happened throughout the year from different manufacturers. Then on New Year's Day, on the 1st of January, we'll be straight in there with a fresh episode of Platform 1, taking a look ahead to the year 2020 and just seeing what's coming through from ourselves, Hornby, Oxford Rail, Dapol, Helgen, and just getting an idea of all the fantastic models that are coming through. If you thought that 2019 was a busy year, get set for 2020 because there's going to be a lot.
I know we say it's been a busy week most weeks, but it's been a busy year, hasn't it? It's been absolutely incredible with the sheer amount of new releases, and we're really looking forward to looking back through some of the highlights of the year and looking forward to seeing what 2020's got in store as well. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll be here on Christmas Day and on New Year's Day as well, and we look forward to seeing you then.
We definitely will be. Of course, you submitted some of your questions for those shows as well, which we've had a chance to answer in the Christmas special. So if you wanted to hear your question available in that one, it will be in there if we had time for it. And we will be back to Platform 1 on its normal weekly schedule, back live again on Friday the 10th of January, I believe, at 1 p.m. GMT. So if you want to get back to the normal shows after in 2020, join us then, and we'll have all the latest from Hornby's 2020 announcements in that show and new releases as well.
And of course, if you want to see your own highlights of 2019 so far, every episode of Platform 1 is available to watch again on our YouTube channel, as well as some other fantastic videos showing running sessions, interviews with prominent YouTube modelers as well. So take a look for our YouTube channel. If we're a little bit off air and you need your fix of Platform 1, you can certainly look back through and see what we've brought to you before.
But we're still covering you over that Christmas period, so do check those out. If you're perhaps off work or off school, you can check those out over on Christmas Day and New Year's Day.
Can. See you then.
You ready for some questions, Dave?
Oh, you know me, guys. I love this bit. I love it all, but I love this bit.
It's your pièce de résistance here, isn't it? Okay, we've got James Hardy asks, what do you think we might see in Hornby's 2020 range?
Oh, now, we've not really had any hints, to be quite honest with you. I'd love to know a little bit of something that
Me too.
I'd tell you guys first, you know that. But we've not really had any hints, so it could be anything and everything in there. But of course, we will know on Monday the 6th of January at 10 o'clock. So make sure you're on our website then, as we'll be covering it live. As soon as those announcements go up, they'll be on our webpage, available to order, and you'll see them as soon as we see them as well. And believe me, we're as excited as you. So as soon as we know what is coming through from Hornby, it'll be on our website, so check that out.
That's it. Stay tuned to our website live, and all these new products will be going on as fast as we can on the day, so keep an eye there not to miss anything. And of course, we'll be summarising it all in Platform 1 on the 10th of January as well. We've got Locomotive for Ralph asks, is there any updates on the Hattons O-Gauge A4?
There is indeed. Now, they are expected in February, and we will be covering those in a future episode of Platform 1 as well. We'll have some more samples to show you, but they are expected to come through in February 2020.
Brilliant. And if you tune into our New Year's Day special as well, we'll take a little look at them in detail there as well. So you can.
That's a hint dropped, isn't it?
Sorry, a bit of a teaser
dropped
there. So that's one thing that you can look forward to in that. We've got H2O Gaming says, love the Class 66 top marks, guys. And then we've also got Kurt TV and Taze also asking about when the 66s will be shipped. Some of the 66s will start shipping around now over the next few days, I believe.
Yes.
And then, of course, next year we'll be looking at getting the digital fitted and the sound fitted ones through, and more liveries too.
So for anyone who ordered 66 before the cutoff, that is being sent out today or over the next few days to get to you before Christmas. But we are still taking pre-orders as well, which will be fulfilled in January or February. We'll confirm that date as soon as we know it. But a lot of them going out now to go under the Christmas tree. But if you want to obtain yours, make sure you pre-order and we'll get it out to you as soon as we can.
That's it. We've got Medway Peninsula Model Railway says, hi and happy Christmas. Merry Christmas to you too. Thanks for the next day delivery received today. Super service. Really glad to hear that.
Brilliant. And of course, as we said before, you can order right up to the 23rd of December for special delivery as well. And if you are taking it right to the wire, the store's open every day until Christmas Eve.
We've got I Like Transport says, what tool is the Hornby GWR HST train set from?
Now, we believe that that is the Lima tooling, or the ex-Lima tooling, shall we say. But it has been fully refurbished with a new motor, digital capacity in there as well, to pair it with the modern Mark III coaches. So again, as we've mentioned a couple of times on the stream, Hornby is bringing through some of their more classic items, but in really vibrant, modern new liveries as well. We've had the GWR train set, which is available to order now. We've had the blue and grey power cars in the railroad range, which are available to order now. So right back at that 1970s livery and straight up to date with that GWR livery as well. Both ends of the spectrum are available to order for a really great price, so check those out.
Brilliant. We've got Flaming Network 2190 says, are we based in Liverpool? We're actually based in Widnes, which is a little bit out of Liverpool, probably about 15-20 minutes. We used to be based on Smithdown Road in Liverpool, but we're, as I say, about 15 minutes away from there. If you head to our website, you can find full details on how to find us if you want to come and see us in real life. Obviously, we've got a full store downstairs with lots to see. Really great staff in there as well who can help answer any questions you've got. And if there's anything you want to see from our warehouse, because we do have over 18,000 products in stock, they can nip into the warehouse and get anything for you to take a closer look at as well. And we do have a test track in the store if you want to try out your purchases first. But head to our site and you can find out exactly where we are. We've got a few ideas here for locomotives and other products. We've got Andrew Wilshire asks if we could look at doing Civity Class 195 and 331s, which are the new Northern Rail units which has come in. We've also got Ben Tuller asks, no one's bought out a fireless steam locomotive and something he'd like us to see.
Oh, Andrew Barclay possibility there, isn't it? Really, we're similar to our own Andrew Barclay.
And then we've got Fred's Trains as well asking if we'll ever do a Pacer. Now, obviously, it's the end of the end of the line for the Pacer at the moment, with them going off lease and some of them being scrapped now. So I'm sure we may see Pacers in the future, hopefully, from some manufacturers. It's not something we've got plans for at the moment, but really appreciate all your ideas there, guys. And if there is anything else you want us to see, what you want us to do, should I say, head over to ideas@hattons.co.uk, which is our special email address, which Dave pointed out before, and that goes straight to our development team, and all of your ideas are taken into consideration. So we do appreciate anything. We've got Alan Tom says the 67 is superb. Can't wait for 59 from Dapol and to compare it to our superb looking soon to receive Hatton 66 as well.
That's coming through in the middle of 2020 now in both N gauge and double O gauge as well. Dapol's 59, of course, has a lot of similarities to the 66 locomotives, with them being almost the father of the 66 really, working right back into the 1980s, but it is looking like an absolutely superb model and we hope to feature more on that very soon on Platform 1.
Brilliant. And then we've got Taze here, says patiently waiting for the YOB cranes, and do we have an estimated time frame for that?
We do indeed. They are now planning to be available in the early part of 2021. We've put some updated information and colour layouts on our website as well, and again we hope to have more on those for you very, very soon indeed.
Brilliant. Well, I think that about calls it for today. We're coming up to 2 o'clock now. Really appreciate all you guys for joining us once again. If you're new to the show, welcome to Platform 1. We do this pretty much every Friday over the Christmas period. Like we said before, we'll be on Christmas Day, New Year's Day, back as normal on Friday the 10th of January. In fact, we've got a little card here. Sorry, that one, which has got the full dates for you. So I'll leave that on screen for a moment, just in case you need that. Do join us for those, because we'll be covering, as I said, the previous releases from 2019, some of the top stuff that's come through, and also looking ahead to what's coming out in 2020 as well. But appreciate all your fantastic comments here today, guys. Thanks very much for joining us, and we'll probably see you again soon.
We'll see you on Christmas Day. Take care.
See you guys.